welcome to a podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and joining me from a makeshift podcast studio, it's your co-host, Nick Richardson.
You know what's crazy is I am in a makeshift podcast studio.
Yes, that is actually where you are. Because
that's bananas.
This is our 100th episode, so we're pulling out all the stops, letting you know exactly where we are. Tell us your address, Nick. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C.
Nope.
Visit Nick there.
Don't go there. Don't do it. It's not safe for you. Just saying.
So, this is a very special episode. As we said, it is officially our 100th episode. Now, if you look at the feed, there's way more than 100 episodes because we put out bonus episodes. We've got all the podcasts about football episodes from 2018, 2019 in there. But this is actually episode 100 in the sequential numbering sequence. So we thought we would do something special and self-indulgent because I couldn't come up with a better idea. So we are doing a podcast about something, podcast superlatives.
Dang.
Now, if you're a regular listener, you know we have movie superlatives once a month where we give out made-up awards to movies. So we're doing the same thing here. We're giving made-up awards to ourselves for this podcast.
God damn it. I feel like we're giving ourselves trophies.
That's exactly. I actually have trophies here. It's like the Dundies. It's the podcast about something version of the Dundies.
I might have to make me one now. They have Dundies for sale, and I might
I've
just
seen
put
them.
APA something on it with Sharpie.
There you go. If you win any of these awards, be sure to buy yourself one.
I fucking will, man.
I don't think you can win any of them though because I don't think there's anything that pertains directly to a person other than guests. But you're not a guest, so you're not up for that.
I am the best guest.
Yes, but you're not a guest, so don't count. So we will be giving out 5 different awards. We can only give 1 award per thing and 1 thing per award. All the rules don't really translate, but we'll figure it out as we go. The 5 awards we're giving out is Best Guest, Best General Topic, like not a specific episode topic, but like, do we like when we talk about TV or books or music or, that kind of thing. General topics. The best fact learned from a podcast about something. The best idea for a future episode. What are we most excited to work on in the future? And last but not least, our favorite episode.
Dang, I cannot wait to get into this one.
And we got a bunch of other shit to talk about at the end.
We do.
About podcasting in general. So if you're a podcaster and you want to learn our thoughts on podcasting but don't feel like listening to all our awards, which first of all, fuck you.
Get off my feed.
Then you could just fast forward to like probably minute 36-ish. But don't do that. Listen to the whole thing.
Right. You're gonna be incredible. You're gonna be like Nolan whenever it comes to timing shit perfectly. But yeah, if you want to, get a little advice, if you're looking to start a podcast yourself, stay tuned to around that 36-ish minute mark, and you might learn a little something.
Exactly. That's what we're here for, to teach you, the listeners, something.
No, fuck that. I'm here to give myself awards, and that's a secondary thing.
All right, that's fine. You can do that then.
Nice.
All right, so let's get right into these awards then. Let's start with Best Guest. You go first. Co-hosts do not count. So no Eric and no Nick.
Yeah, no Eric, no me. So that's tough because, I'm me.
You wanted to pick you. Yeah.
I wanted to be like, this Nick guy is a pretty chill dude. And I'm not very chill for saying that. But no, my favorite by far has been Andy. And that sounds kind of mean by far. But Andy from our Jobs episode. No, they're all great. We thank you for coming on the show. But episode 96, I believe, with Andy, where we talked about jobs, because he gave a bunch of fantastic advice, and he was, enunciated, and was a really good speaker, and he didn't sound like shit. So
that was helpful.
Dude, that was super awesome. I was very, very happy with that.
Sometimes you get a guest, and you don't know what it's going to come through as. I agree. I really liked Andy. Again, he's one of my friends from college. So, of course, I liked talking to him, and, we would have conversations like you and I have now back in college. And it was cool for him to bring some of his expertise onto this show because he was the first, expert that we had on something, if you want to call him that. I'll call him an expert.
I'll call him an expert.
Yeah.
a professional for sure.
Because usually it's just other dudes or ladies who podcast who like whatever the topic is.
Yeah.
You know, in the same way we like whatever topic we're covering. But he was like a special, it was more of an interview, let's get, you know, somebody who knows their shit on here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I like that a lot. And at the same time, it was somewhere where I didn't really want to necessarily say anything because it's like, I was really fascinated by what he was saying, or just the perspective coming from him was just completely, you know, I've always wondered what it was like on the other side of the table from your HR rep, or I believe he was an HR rep.
He works in HR. At some point he was an HR rep, but I think he has like a fancier title by now.
But either way, he's the Toby of most offices. Not saying he's Toby.
Ouch.
But dude,
shots
shout out
fired
to
at Andy.
Steve Carell, though.
Toby.
He came out with a...
I saw that.
Yeah, dude, Toby started COVID-19. So, Andy, what's up, dude? You got something to tell us, bro? Other than that...
Toby.
Yeah, I didn't really want to say much because it was just like, okay, this guy obviously knows what the fuck he's talking about, so I'm just going to sit back and listen and learn, which was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned a lot from him. It was really great experience. I'm probably going to go back to him at some point with more questions just for myself. But yeah, that was cool. So now it's my turn.
Hit it.
I went from back in the days, late 2018, when the format of the podcast was to have a different guest every week. And that was hella hard on scheduling and timing. But two guys stood out to me. It was Joe and Luke from the Thunk Tank podcast, which is a great podcast where they drink beers and thunk about things. But they came on to do the Seinfeld episodes with me. We did two very long two-part Seinfeld episodes, one on Festivus and one on George Costanza's engagement. And I just like working with Joe and Luke because they're the only people I've ever quote-unquote met that can just go insane on Seinfeld knowledge the way I can and completely indulge my craziest thoughts on what's really going on in an episode of Seinfeld.
Isn't that dope, though, when you run into people like that?
Well, yeah, and it kind of happened by happenstance because I saw them on Twitter, and they posted their new episode link that was like, we did our Signcast, which they did like 2 hours of trying to encapsulate the whole show, which is really hard to do with a 9-season show. And so I listened to it, and I just heard them, and it was just like back and forth quotes the whole time. And they're talking about they probably lost all their listeners, and I'm like, no, I'm right there with you. I'm going with you. I can name every episode you're quoting. I can go with it. So like I immediately reached out to them. I was like, I've got a great idea for an episode. I've been trying to find a crazy Seinfeld fanatic. I think I found some, and we made it work. And they've started doing episode rewatches as part of their pod. It's not their whole podcast, but like every once in a while they do an episode rewatch. And I'm hoping to be on one soon. We landed on which episode we're going to do. We just have to find time. And they're really great because, like I said, they just indulge in the inaneness of Seinfeld and go super deep on nothing, which is kind of like what we do here, except, we dive deep on something.
Yeah, I mean, that's something too. I mean, it's Seinfeld, but still, talking to people that have a breadth of knowledge about a certain subject, especially one you enjoy and share that breadth of knowledge with, that's super fucking fun. Where you guys are almost in sync when you're jamming like that, and
yes,
fuck man, it's one of the most I don't want to say relaxing, but it's very therapeutic in a way. Just to have
it's
a great conversation.
Too.
There you go. That's exactly.
All of these thoughts that I've always had about this dumb show, somebody's there to listen to them now.
And not just listen, but respond.
Right.
And have something to say.
It's right there with me, like, oh shit, that makes sense.
Dude, what the fuck? Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah. I love that. That usually happens to me when I run into, like, this new guy we got at work. Newer guy. I've worked with him previously. He actually worked for me at a previous job. And I was able to snag him, bring him along to this new one. But I had no idea he was a big mega nerd like me. Loves Halo. So like the third or fourth day in, he said something about Halo, and it was just like, bro, are we best friends now?
Yeah.
And we just started talking about Halo for like the next 3 or 4 days, pretty much.
Good to find those people, but it's often hard to, because like somebody could be like, oh, I like that thing, and you're like, yeah, but do you like it how I like it?
Yeah, and you really don't want to come on too strong, because then they'll think you're a fucking weirdo.
Exactly.
But no, it was reciprocal. It was
yeah, that's great. All right, so let's move on. Next category is the best general topic. And again, this is not a specific episode topic. That's what we'll do at the end. More generalized, overarching topic that we like to talk about and that we like to kind of keep digging in that well. I go first on this one. I really like our book series discussions best, like the Harry Potter and A Song of Ice and Fire ones.
I really enjoy those because we really go deep, man.
Yeah. So I like these because the way we look at, especially these two things, and I wish I had more knowledge on some other book series, but these are the ones that like I've chosen to, immerse myself in. But like Lord of the Rings would be a great one to do this stuff on, and I just
Oh,
don't have the
damn,
knowledge
yeah.
there, and I don't want to do a disservice to something like Lord of the Rings. Uh, but there's tons of series out there that could use this treatment, and like I just don't have the time to dedicate to learning the whole world of them. Like I've already committed to Harry Potter and A Song of Ice and Fire. uh, but I just like, we kind of pick apart the minutia within these two things. It'd be very easy to talk for an hour about Game of Thrones and the overarching themes of it, but like what we did last week with the Crypts of Winterfell and just coming up with theories off the cuff because we're discussing one specific thing, to me is a lot more fun than just being like, well, yeah, the Night King might be this guy, and he's gonna go to Winterfell and then make it down to King's Landing. That's not as fun.
No, and at the same time, I think everything we discussed was plausible. Was
Right.
I mean, especially within the world of A Song of Ice and Fire, and when you can discuss things like that, because both of those things, Harry Potter and Game of Thrones, for just it's easier to say,
It is.
we kind of brought with us from earlier days where we just didn't have. I mean, we're both fathers, we're both married, we
Right.
both have jobs, and I've worked forever, and obviously had girlfriends and stuff like that, but I had a lot of more time to
Right.
dedicate to stuff like that. So I mean, Lord of the Rings
Season
was
5 of
fun.
Game of Thrones was my like peak Song of Ice and Fire, where I was like a on Quora, which is like a question and answer social media type thing. Like I was a sought after person to answer questions on theories and things like that. And so like between 5 and 6 was when I read the books and I got super deep into the world and tried to start learning more. And I had my first daughter, but like I still had time while I was, I had some time at work to look at things, I had some time at home to look at things, and now it's just like there would be no time to dive in deeper to different worlds.
It's I mean, it's a major commitment, but luckily they're both giant worlds that have a ton of
Yes.
stuff that's been unexplored or really not talked about. And I think we kind of gravitate towards like our last episode, the Crypts of Winterfell. Not many people decide to talk about it. Mostly it's the giant battles and the
Or you get
deaths
like
and shit
a
like
you get
that.
like a 5 minute conversation. Oh, there might be something in there as you're talking about something larger. But like I like taking that and making it a whole thing because when we do that, we always find kind of more avenues and theories to come up with and move down. Same thing when we talked about Argus Filch from Harry Potter. Like, yeah, we talked about who Filch was, but it helped us understand a lot more of the way magic in the world works and why somebody wouldn't have magic or how they couldn't have magic. So like you start on something and you end up going down these rabbit holes and branching out onto different things that all tie back to that main thing. And like you said, the worlds are just so huge that there are literally endless possibilities of topics to cover in ways that will never get stale.
Right? I mean, I could talk about Second Breakfast forever.
I couldn't because I literally have seen the Lord of the Rings movies one time and that's all of my knowledge on
Oh
them.
God,
And I
man.
wish I wish I had more because I would love to talk about it, and maybe I'll do the audiobooks at some point so I can get kind of a better background on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like with TV and movies, they're easier to consume, but they're these finite worlds to live in, especially if they're not built off of something like Harry Potter, Song of Ice and Fire, Lord of the Rings. If they're not built on the back of something that's larger, it's just it's whatever
Shallow.
you see on the screen,
Yeah, it's very
and
shallow.
you can't take that in different places necessarily unless somebody builds a world around what you see, like Stranger Things, for example. There's no world built around it. You can only extrapolate on what we've seen. So there's no way to say like, okay, what is the upside down really? Where are the secrets hiding that we don't see in the show because we're only given the show to work with.
That's a fucking great point.
But with these things, with Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, you get this vision in your head and then you see it on screen, and then, they can put all these little details that seem like throwaway details, but actually could down the road at some point come back and actually mean something, which is really great. And we talked about
Hell
that a
yeah.
lot with the Crypts of Winterfell of like, well, there's this little thing of the Stark kids playing in the crypts early in the books. Well, that might be meaningful later when we realize how comfortable they are down there, like Bran and Rickon hiding down there. Like, it's important to know that they're comfortable down there because that's where they hid later.
Exactly. Not just hid, but spent months basically.
Right.
A
And
shit
on
ton
the
of time.
show, you would never know those things because it was like we didn't see them playing down there, so we don't know they've ever even been down there.
Yeah, it's just like this thing they know.
Yeah. All right. So, what was your best topic?
Mine was The Office.
Oh,
I
that's a
think
good
that
one.
might be
I like that too.
that's a middling one, so it's not necessarily super specific, but I think it's
I
overarching
mean, we've
enough.
gotten some pretty specific going in there.
Well, we have like 3 hours on The Office, so
Yeah,
I think that's
and we got more coming.
we do. I mean, I fucking love The Office dearly. Going through a rewatch yet again
So
because
am
it's
I.
great to have on.
Where are you?
Season 3.
Oh, I just
Season
started.
3, episode 16, I want to say.
I just started season 4. I think I'm on 4 or 5 right now.
So I'm catching up quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, we both fucking love The Office dearly. So many people love The Office, and it's something that had such great continuity and, little minute details throughout the show that were fucking awesome and just added up so well. Not only is it one of my favorite subjects to talk about because you share that with me, like the dinner party episode with episode 40 and the branch merger episode with 63. Dude, those aren't necessarily major. Well, I guess they're dinner party, not so much. Branch merger is pretty major in the plot of The Office.
Right.
But still, that's not what people mostly discuss. They kind of focus on how Michael Scott's a fucking
Yeah.
wicked dummy.
Who's your favorite character? What
Hmm.
did you think of seasons 8 and 9? Like, that's how people talk about The Office. And it's like, okay, that's fun, but that's finite. Like, that conversation ends and you have nowhere else to go. But if you start with, all right, let's just talk about this one episode, and specifically the party part of this episode, we don't care about any of the other stuff that happens, then you can look at a different episode the next time.
Right, and I'm. It's also punctuated by the fact that Steve Carell was apparently forced off the show. I think I
Yes.
just saw that a couple
Everybody
days
read
ago.
that recently.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, those heartless fucking bastards! How do you kick him off the show? He was
Well,
the
that's
heart and
what
soul.
my wife and I were talking about it, and I said, because he was ready to come back for season 8, it said, and basically NBC didn't want to pay him what he was asking. Fine. I asked my wife, I said, do you think they would have stopped after season 8 if he came back for 8? Like, and we both just kind of said, yeah, I think so. There wouldn't have been a 9 because 9 was just kind of to clean up what 8 did.
Mm-hmm.
And even 9 doesn't really clean up 8 that well, but you have to get to a point where you can end, and 8 didn't get you to any points where you could end. But with Michael Scott there, I think you can get to a point where you end.
Right, I think it's something that it was a really convoluted way to. It's almost like they were buying time until Steve Carell could get free and show up for a cameo, and he was just like, yeah, I'll show up, yeah, sure,
Yeah.
for sure, I'll be there, and then just took a year and a half to get there.
Yeah, probably something along that. That's a good pick. I like The Office. That was probably my next thing of like, because it's the same thing. We just go super deep on super stupid stuff.
Right, and that's fun.
It is. It is very fun. All right, so the best fact learned from a podcast about something, either through our research or listening to one of us or a guest or whatever. What do you got?
I was very conflicted. I obviously can't pick two things, but the Jobs episode was super, helpful. Very, very good information to have in your back pocket. But
Yes.
my main pick, it's from episode 88, and that's Unlucky People in Their Bad Days. Specifically, fucking, what's his face? Oh, God, sorry. Tutsumo?
Oh, that
Tomo?
guy.
Yamaguchi. And the reason why, I mean, I had no idea that not only did he survive 1, but 2 atomic blasts, which, I mean, obviously there was only 2 atomic bombs used on people that we can prove. that's a monumental point in history. That's a shitty couple fucking days. That dude's whole life was turned around on, at a level that I will never comprehend, like not even close. So it was something that, with the facts I learned from his life and just kind of the series of events, the fact that someone was so unlucky, it really put a lot of fucking things in perspective for me, and was just like, it's like you think you think you're tough and you're working hard through life, and it's like, damn,
You
fuck,
are
I don't even.
not ever going to be lived through 2 atomic bombs tough.
No, yeah, no, and this dude just kept on trucking, kept on fucking going. So I mean, that's a pretty powerful motivator, in my opinion. Just a normal guy who did something innately extraordinary.
Yeah, and that's something like I never would have had that information if we didn't do this.
I just never
So
would have gone down that rabbit
yeah,
hole.
like I wouldn't have cared to look at like, has anyone survived 2 atomic bombs? I never would have Googled that in my life.
No, I might have seen it on like a cracked article, but
Right.
it's a cracked
But it
article.
would be one of those things in one ear out the other.
Yeah, it's a cracked article. I'm gonna read like, it's gonna be a blurb of 6 sentences, like this guy
Yeah.
survived 2 atomic bombs. I'm like, oh, cool. Time to get off the toilet and leave.
Yep. Wash your hands, Nick. Coronavirus is
I'm
out
not
there.
one of those sick fucks that uses the bathroom and doesn't wash my hands. And
Good.
if you do that, fuck you. If you
I agree.
shit and do not wash your hands, you are an asshole. Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, and your hands have asshole on them.
Yeah. And
All
poop.
right. So mine was a little softer, I guess I'll say, than yours.
Softer,
Not quite so. Yeah, I can't think of the word. Anyway, mine is that the Philosopher's Stone of Harry Potter fame is a real mythical historical artifact in the world of alchemy, especially within Great Britain. I always thought, because this was from episode 29, a podcast about the Sorcerer's Stone with the great VCR Kids, runner-up really for the best guest to the Thunk Tankers.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I never understood, like, I always thought it was weird that they changed the name for the US release from Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone. Never really understood why until we looked into this, and I even went into that episode expecting to talk about like the fake history behind the stone, of like whatever J.K. Rowling created in her world of how it was made and where it went. And then like as I'm reading and going down this rabbit hole, I realized like, no, this is based on a real artifact that people historically in Great Britain thought was a real thing and thought they could make.
Yeah, I thought they could achieve.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I love about doing this podcast is like the smallest idea takes me on these wild rides as I find out more and more about whatever the topic is. And that's again, I would have never learned about that. I probably would have never looked into why it was changed from Philosopher's Stone to Sorcerer's Stone, which like, okay, fuck you, US publishers who thought Americans weren't smart enough. Because just a brief why it was changed, if you don't want to go back and listen to episode 29, which you should, but it was changed to Sorcerer's Stone in America because the American publishers didn't think American children would relate Philosopher's Stone with magic in any way, because we don't have that myth in American culture at all. Great Britain, they have that myth of the Philosopher's Stone built into their culture. But
I mean,
here,
I suppose that's fair.
we don't have that. It's like I don't know, what's a American myth?
Freedom.
Damn. Coming off the top rope.
Fucking giving them the people's elbow, son.
All right. Anyway, so they changed it so it would appeal more to American readers who would understand that it was about magic without having to figure out what the Philosopher's Stone is, because again, there's no internet really at this time where kids can just go Google what the fuck is a Philosopher's Stone. So they changed it, and like now I like Philosopher's Stone better because like it's a real thing and it has a basis in history, and to me I think that's cooler than Sorcerer's Stone, which doesn't actually make sense.
Well, I mean, it's like they're just slapping you in the face with obvious dumb bullshit. It's like,
Right.
hey, you guys are dumb. So, we are going to force feed this to you, which is just fucking annoying. And the fact, if you just use the verbiage Philosopher's Stone, there's so much behind that leads you down the rabbit hole of alchemy for one. That's pretty tight. You can find all kinds of cool stuff. And my favorite fact, honestly, fun fact for you guys out there, Isaac Newton's first passion was finding the Philosopher's Stone. Like, that was what he spent 95% of his time on.
Shout out Isaac Newton.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, gravity, bro. Thanks. That's pretty tight. He came up with some of the. I honestly don't know. I know Isaac Newton is extremely important. Came up with the theory of gravity and all kinds of good shit. But I thought that was a fun fact that I learned after listening to that episode and getting down that rabbit hole.
Yes, listen to a podcast about something. You'll probably learn something.
I hope so.
Maybe not in this episode, though, because, again, we're just giving ourselves awards.
You'll learn something. You just learned something. I bet a lot of people didn't know that.
Well, they should go back and listen to episode 29 because there's a lot more information about it there.
Get it?
All right, so let's move on to the best idea for the future. So what are we most excited to dive into on a future episode? And these, I have two, and they're both recent ideas I had. The first is actually we're gonna be doing it in a couple of weeks. It's our fictional football draft.
Oh, hell yeah.
Really pumped for that. We're following the NFL draft order, and we're just going to go back and forth and draft teams of fictional players from TV and movies. And we're trying to fill the needs of the actual NFL teams. I wanted to try and get like guests on and stuff, but I realized we've really only got 2 weeks to pull this off, and I didn't think I could get enough guests and explain them and get the picks right and do all that. So,
well, then
maybe next year we'll get the guests.
Yeah, if we get more it's kind of a weird time in the NFL.
That's true.
Very odd.
It's a weird time everywhere.
Yes.
But that's really exciting. And then this is one I'm watching The Office right now. Had an idea. We're going to dive deep into the management of The Office, from C-level executives, David Wallace, Robert California, those types of people, to whatever the hell Jan's position was called, Jan, Ryan, Charles Miner, those guys, to regional managers and assistant regional manager, assistant to the regional manager. Basically, anyone who's got co-managers, we're going to be talking. Maybe managers of other branches. Get some Karen Filippelli in there. The
security manager, Josh. Oh, Josh. Fuck, dude, I'm there. I am so there.
Warehouse management, Daryl, Val.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I haven't fully vetted that one out, but we're going to be talking management of The Office. What are their management styles? Were they good managers? Maybe we'll get Andy back on for that, and he can give us some HR perspective on who the best manager in The Office is.
That, or, shout out to anybody listening. If you're a big Office fan and you know what the fuck you're talking about.
You got some ideas.
And you know any of those names we just said, apart from, The Office and Michael Scott or whatever. We didn't say him. But hit us up. You might get on an episode.
Yeah.
But that'd be a fun topic. And the fictional football draft, I can't fucking wait for that one, dude. It's going to be so tight.
Yeah, we're like 6 picks in right now because we're just going back. We're trying to do it ahead of time so it's all ready to go.
But we're not discussing it.
Yeah, no, we're not discussing. Just making picks and moving on. That we'll discuss it on the episode.
Live for your entertainment.
Well, not live. Recorded.
Live in my office for your entertainment.
All right. So what do you got for best idea for the future?
All right. None of these we've really talked about.
Well, that's the point. That's why it's a future.
Well, we've talked about a lot of future episodes. We just haven't, decided on them. My first one is misguided archaeological discoveries.
Ooh.
Yes.
Specifically, hot topic there.
I think it'd be fun because we can be very stupid when we find weird shit in the ground. Like dinosaur bones, when we first find them, we're like, oh my god, there's giants! Giants! Even though we've never seen evidence of giants, and then, we kind of further find more dinosaur bones, and we learn more, and same with, like, the missing link in human beings and evolution in that regard. It's like, we continuously find more and more subspecies and stuff like that, when in reality, we fucking declared, like, this is the missing link 60 years ago, but it was a goddamn glued together statue, basically. So that one I think will be really fun.
I like that. That's a great.
Or, you know, we found weird inventions in the ground. It's like, dang, you know, I bet this was for absorbing the sun and using it as a death ray, and in reality
Really,
it's
it's
a
about like
fucking dildo or
toothpick.
something.
Yeah.
So
This is
yeah,
how they fought tooth decay back in 700 BC.
God, I wish we had a time machine to, you know, go back in time and see exactly what it was used for, and then just kind of put that side by side for people. That'd be fun. So there was that. I got three. So 2 of 3 is, I want to say, Evolution 2.0. So what's, you know, humanity's next big step? What shape will it take? When? And how will it come about? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we'll evolve back into monkeys.
I mean, shit, dude. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty close to a monkey. I just have a lot less hair.
There you go.
And then 3 is we had a fan write in, which is super odd to say. But they want to hear us talk about a few subjects, and one of them was anime / Dragon Ball Z. I'm going Dragon Ball Z, bro. It's fucking on.
Shout out to Thomas Meehan.
Shout out, bro.
Thanks for the suggestions.
Absolutely. Thank you for the suggestions. And I'm trying to put it in Calvin's ear. I will write up the dopest outline, and we'll have a fantastic conversation.
It's just going to be
it.
You teaching me things about anime and Dragon Ball Z.
Well, I mean,
I'm cool with it if you are.
I tried before to get you into a little anime with Akira.
Didn't work.
No. That one's tough to get into. I mean, that shit is violent, bro. It is intense. But Dragon Ball Z is a lot goofier, a lot less violent, stuff like that.
I was thinking we could do something like Dragon Ball Z type thing, and you can set up. You'd have to set up the outline because I don't know enough about it, and I can just like give my thoughts on like what I've consumed through popular culture. Like, I know some things exist and that they're related to Dragon Ball Z, but I don't know what the context is. So like, you could put the thing out there, and I can be like, oh yeah, Goku, he's this dude that does this, which will be mostly completely wrong, I'm sure. And then you can like actually fill in the real story.
Yeah, be like, listen, dickhead, if you don't know about Goku, you're an asshole.
There's a fun podcast. They don't do a lot anymore, and they may be defunct now, but it was shit, I got it on my thing. Basically, they didn't watch movies. They just reviewed movies through what they saw within popular culture. Like, they would watch one trailer and then try and just guess at what the movie's about based on the trailer, what they've read on other reviews, what they've read on Twitter, things like that.
That sounds fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah, they're not active anymore, and I don't have the name of it.
Oh, that sucks. It's too bad.
Yeah, because it was a lot of fun to listen to, because you'd be like, they would just be so far off with what they were guessing, and that was fun. So I kind of want to do that with Dragon Ball Z. I think that could be a fun way to approach it, of just like me trying to explain what these things are, but having absolutely no idea what they are.
I love that. I love it. Let's do it, dude.
And then you could actually fill in the actual blanks. Because
I could do that all
I think that's important.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. So we'll get that in the works. Another suggestion of his was Power Rangers, and there is a Power Rangers outline in the works. I just don't know when we're going to get to it, but it's coming in the next couple months.
It's coming. I actually started my rewatch. I got like 9 minutes in of the Power Rangers movie.
Oh, nice.
So,
that's okay.
I mean, that movie's pretty good.
If you're going to watch the show, because all the seasons are on Netflix, if you're going to do the show, let me tell you, this is how I did it. I started out trying to watch every episode, and that it just is way too formulaic and repetitive, because every episode, it's one of the Power Rangers has a personal problem in real life. Rita Repulsa tries to take advantage of that, sends a monster down. They fight the putties for a minute without their costumes. Then the monster comes, they morph. The monster beats them up for a few minutes. Then the monster grows. Then they call in the Zords, and they beat the monster. So what I did, instead of watching each formulaic episode, I would just go to like the 3-parters, the 2 and 3-parters, because those were like when things would happen, when they'd change Zords, or they'd get a new member, or like Tommy came in, or like Jason turned bad for a couple episodes. So that was kind of a better way to watch it, because it's just the same thing. Monster comes, they fight monster, monster grows, they fight monster again, and it gets really boring really quick. But if you just try and watch the important parts, it's a lot easier to stomach, and you still get most of it.
There's a lot of that in Dragon Ball Z, but fucking Power Rangers, dude, is dope. And
Well, Power Rangers is
I've
also
never
like
really thought about it like that.
25 seasons deep and like 19 different teams. So
And it's, dude, I mean, let's just say it out loud. It came from a pretty blatant, let's just say racist spot. I mean, it was bad. The black guy was the Black Ranger. I always thought that
the
was
Asian
really fucking
girl was
yeah.
the Yellow Ranger. Yeah.
Yeah, and the ditzy white chick was the Pink Ranger. It's just like, man, ooh, this is. I felt like they tried to retract that later on. Like, no one noticed it, and then someone pointed it out to him.
And they're like,
hey,
oh
yeah,
shit.
this is kind of not cool. And they're like, fuck,
Well, and then
Gerald.
with the next iteration, when they came to the movie and they did the Ninja Power Rangers, they just switched the yellow and the black. Basically, the black girl became the Yellow Ranger, and the maybe Asian guy became
Yeah, I'm
the
pretty
Black
sure.
Ranger. Maybe Asian, maybe Hispanic of some sort.
I think he was
I don't
Asian.
know, and I'm trying not to be insensitive.
I mean, dude, it was from when I was like 5.
Adam. Yeah, his name's
so
Adam. I know that. And he was
more
a
than I
frog in the movie. That was his new animal spirit, was the frog, and he was really upset about that.
That's dope.
Frog.
That Zord
All
is dope.
Yeah, the frog Zord is cool. Anyway, this isn't a podcast about Power Rangers. That's coming in the future. All right, let's move on to our final category. We almost hit our 36-minute mark, like I said. If you came here
That's
from the
pretty
beginning,
close, man.
aiming for the 36-minute mark, you get to hear our final category, which is great. Favorite episode, you go first. Personal favorite, either to listen to or that you enjoyed researching and planning, or basically just had the most fun with.
My favorite episode's episode 48. B-movies and biceps, bro.
Nice. That was a good one.
That was one of my favorite. That was when I felt like I finally hit my groove and started to, I don't know, settle in a little bit more. It was, I think that the first episode I really
that was
put
the
together.
first episode you picked the topic for and we went in on.
Yeah, and I thought it was such an asinine, weird topic. And at the time in my life, exactly. I mean, at the time in my life, it was really fun to just talk about something stupid. Like I was at a job that was just serious all the time, and I felt like I was being serious all the time, and that was something that was really, really fun to do, was just talk about fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and all kinds of dumb ass, The Rock, and just jacked fucking dudes with huge guns, pun intended, pew, 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 pew. And
I'm not gonna laugh at that.
You motherfucker. You laugh right now. But yeah, that was fun to get a little creative control, I guess, and come up with the outline and shit like that. So that was my favorite episode. We talked about a lot of goofy shit, and that's what I needed at that time, and it hit me right in the feels, bro.
Well, and that's why this is fun, because we can go from talking goofy shit and then talk about the Battle of Thermopylae, which is not goofy.
Yeah, that was a pretty dope episode too.
We can jump back and forth. So I'm going kind of down the same path, but not really. My favorite episode is episode 5, way back, where we did a podcast about Fall Out Boy, one of my favorite bands. And this was actually one of the topics that made me want to start the podcast. And for me, it was just super fun to put together, in the same way that you had fun putting that B-movies and biceps together and looking at it in the way your mind shaped it and going down that rabbit hole. That was the same thing for me here, because Eric and I, like, for our first 4 or 5 episodes, we were doing these super broad topics. The MCU, football, basketball, very, very broad. And this was the first one that I was like, let's do something specific and close in. Like, okay, we could do music and just talk about our favorite bands and rappers and songs and things like that, but that's not as fun. And so this was my first one that I was like, no, I want to go super deep on one particular band, their whole discography. And I really like doing the music episodes, because we've done a couple now where I just take it and get super analytical about things that are usually just taste based. So it's a lot of fun just going through, and I ranked each song, I ranked each album, and then kind of finding out, gave everything a 1 to 10 ranking, added them up to rank the albums. And it was cool to compare the analytics to kind of what my gut I thought was my favorite song and my favorite album, and they actually lined up pretty closely, and I probably fudged it a little bit so it would, but we did the same thing with the top 10 rap albums. It had that same thing going for it. Is I had a gut feeling of what I liked best, but then I put numbers to it, and the numbers kind of came out, and it's cool to see those things side by side and to think of it in an analytical way. And with Fall Out Boy, it was just like one of these random thoughts I had one day of like, I'm driving down the road, I'm listening to a song, I'm like, this is a great song, but this other song is also great, but that's on this album. So which album's actually better, top to bottom? Like, I was like, I could build a spreadsheet and extrapolate all this out and do it, but why am I going to waste my time doing that?
It's just fucking fun.
So then I'm like, you know what? What if I started a podcast? And then I could just do shit like this. And I would at least have a reason for it. It may not be a great reason, but it would be a reason behind it, right? So I could build my spreadsheet and rank my songs and my albums and talk about it. Like, I could have done it just for myself, but it was much better to have a platform to launch it off of and have someone else like Eric to bounce those types of thoughts off of. And now you and the guests, when I was doing guests every week, like, it's fine to just do it for myself and go, okay, cool. Infinity on High is the best album. Nobody gives a shit. I could tweet it out to my like 90 followers that I have on my personal account. Again, no one gives a shit. It was much better to put it onto a platform and like actually talk through it of why I thought things, and have Eric come back and have his thoughts on it, and then have people listen to it and get feedback. Well, theoretically get feedback on it. We get a lot more feedback nowadays than we did back in the first 10 episodes when we were still finding our footing on everything. But theoretically, it was out there to receive feedback on.
Well, right, and there's the big catcher right there. It's out there. You know, when you put something out there, it's very much. I don't know if you're a podcast listener, but you don't make podcasts. It's something that, I don't know. It's like making a statement to someone that you can't take back. So it's like this may be the only thing someone ever hears of you, even just a 10-second clip, and they may come away with it thinking you're absolutely ridiculous. Which
they may also think you're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, personally, I don't really give a shit. If someone thinks I'm very stupid because they caught a blurb of me, okay, but
congrats.
Yeah, right. It's out there, so it's something there. It has a finality to it, which is,
and that you have that kind of anxiety in the back of your mind as you're pushing submit on those first couple episodes, because usually you get a couple episodes in the can before you release them, so you have 3 or 4 to go live with, and like just that first day of, okay, you hit submit, and now you're just kind of watching the numbers go up. Hopefully, they can't go down. That's the positive, is the numbers can't go down.
Yeah, we all start on a level playing field. It's dope.
Yeah. So yeah, it was kind of the same way you said it. Of that was your first thing, B Movies and Biceps, where you grab the reins and put the way your mind works behind it. This was really the first, like, because when you're talking MCU, football, basketball, we just kind of hit on different topics. It wasn't like this. It wasn't like really analytical or weird kind of. My mind goes to weird places. This was the first one where I let my mind take me to a weird place and get analytical on something that nobody else would think to be analytical on. They just, oh, I like that song, and move on with their lives.
Yeah, they weren't Calvin about it.
Yes, I liked that I got to flex the way my mind worked on something.
Hell yeah, and now I do it. Pretty fucking good topic.
Most every week.
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy is a great topic. We've got more music ones coming too. I've got some other people who I'd like to explore in that same way.
Oh, hell yeah.
And okay, those are our categories. Again, we gave out best guess, best topic, best fact learned, best idea for the future, and favorite episode. We also had some Twitter feedback, which I meant to go to earlier, but I forgot, so we're going to do it now.
Hell yeah.
On Twitter, we asked, what is your favorite general topic for podcasts, including this podcast, to cover? Leave a comment, then we'll give you a shout out when we record our 100th episode. Yay! So the options were movies, TV, books. I don't know why I keep pluralizing TV, but whatever. And that won in a landslide, 54%. Sports came in dead last, which I was surprised with, at 2.5%. Music got 6.3%. That's solid. And other got 36.7%. And we had a lot of feedback on other.
Yeah, we did.
So starting with the 10ish podcast at 10ish pod, listen to them, they're great.
They are.
This is the big category that we missed in the poll, and I'm okay with it because I'm not a fan. But they suggested true crime and like another podcast said later, weird stuff. Which I think we cover some weird stuff, and we tried
did.
one true crime episode.
We did, and
which was also weird
stuff
stuff
nice.
if you really knew what was going on there.
Yeah, it was a little bit subliminal.
Yes, but we're not going to tell you the secret. You got to go listen for yourself.
You got to figure it out.
Our friend Colby Mack at Colby Told Me, Movies and Sports.
Shout out Colby.
Firestarters Podcast at Firestarters Pod, Politics. That's from Henry over there at the Firestarters. Not going to happen here. Sorry, Henry.
Dude, come on.
I do not want to talk politics.
I'll talk politics with you. I'll come on your show, bro. We'll talk politics for days.
He can come on here and talk about it with you. I'm just excusing myself from it.
Yeah, get after us, man. Let me know what you want to do. I will go to your show. You can come to my show or our show, and we will have a great time with it.
Take it easy there, claiming your show here.
At
the very least, it's ours.
That's what I said. Our.
Lady Justice Podcast at Lady Justice Pod. Good old true crime is my boo again. Not a huge fan. Like, it's fine.
It just makes me so sad sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just like, God damn it, man.
Bring on the Weird at Bring on the Weird. This is the one that said weird stuff, LOL, which I'm going to have to say Bring on the Weird is probably a podcast full of weird stuff.
I'm going to have to check you out.
Yeah, I like weird stuff. I like weird stuff, and I cannot lie. No?
Stop it.
Cheers to Comics Podcast at Cheers to Comics. Interviews. I like to hear about all types of topics from different perspectives. Interviews are fun. I don't have the energy to do interviews.
They are, like we said earlier in this episode, as husbands, fathers, and employees, it is very tough just to
schedule them.
Yeah,
think of questions to ask somebody else. Like, it's easy to think of the questions to ask myself that I would want to answer, and then like take that to you and be like, do you also think this way and want to answer this question? And like sometimes when it's my outline, you have shorter answers on things than I do, and when it's your outline, I have shorter answers than you do. Like, that's how it works, because the questions are more open-ended than, like, I'm not good at just like asking a question, let somebody talk for 10 minutes on it and be like,
I gotta interrupt. Yeah, I like to interrupt.
Yep.
Say some shit.
The Couch Pilots Podcast at Couch Pilots. Congrats on 100 episodes. Thank you.
That was very kind.
They always move to Florida at they_move. True crime again. I understood that reference at Cap Understands. I may be biased about movies and stuff. I like talking movies. That's why we do our movie superlatives.
True.
Brave for the B-Side Podcast at Bravo_side. Also other like shows such as Mark Maron and Anna Faris. I didn't know Anna Faris had a podcast. But I know Mark Maron's like a comedy interview kind of thing.
Anna Faris is funny, but I have trouble with her voice.
Bad voice, yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing against her otherwise, but I just don't know why.
The Wheels/Blues Podcast at Wheels Blues. I picked other because it would be cool to hear about some video games you guys like, and I told him we did a 4-part series on video games through the ages, but we may do more video games in the future. Halo. I heard somebody likes Halo.
Yeah, shout out to Halo.
That would be another fun one to do that same way I was talking about Dragon Ball Z, because like I played Halo, I know very little about the lore of it.
Dude, I am balls deep into Halo. I know fucking.
So that might be two good ones to do that just like I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm gonna try my best.
Dude, I'm so game for that. Then I would have to do. I'd have to reciprocate that and do Seinfeld or something.
Seinfeld.
Yes, dude. Okay.
I did early on. Eric and I did a Seinfeld trivia episode, and he got demolished.
I fucking bet he did.
That's episode 14, I believe. If anybody wants to go back and listen. It was rough on it.
I kind of want to hear Eric get demolished. No offense, Eric.
Grand Rapidians play video games at Grand_video. Audio drama, audio fiction, role playing, live play RPGs. Hey, I know somebody with an audio drama, audio fiction. Check out Alone_podcast.
Yeah, check me out. You are all alone. We're on our 29th episode. We'll be released plus like a bunch of supplementals. So. Bunch of stuff out there for us.
Significantly less than 100, though. Let's just point that out.
Nowhere near that milestone. 30 is pretty sweet.
No, that's great for the audio fiction, because there's a lot more production value that goes into it, and it's really great.
fuck, it takes a
and like writing and thinking, and yeah, this is just like, oh, Michael Scott likes to do crazy shit. That's easy enough.
I mean, but shit, I think we get pretty in depth about that. But anyways, continue.
Creatively Exposed Podcast at Creatively XPod, empowerment of people of color creatives, and they shared a link to their podcast. Cool. I don't like people who hijack my things, but I do it to other people too, so I guess I can't be that mad. Check out Creatively Exposed if you want to support people of color creatively, which you should.
Yeah, I'm all game for that.
I agree with what the tweet is saying. Empowerment of people of color is a great thing. Again, I don't like
hijacking my shit, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up, man?
But I do it to other people all the time. Like if somebody has a tweet that has something to do with one of our episodes, I always put the tweet link in there. So like I'm guilty of it. Blind Hostility at Blind Hostility, video games. Again, we've done some. We'll do more. The Raven of Shallot at Madam Raven 1. I like horror narrations and lore.
You know, I got something for you coming to my feed. Actually, I've written several short stories that have been in No Sleep, like 6 or 7 that I'm gonna make into some audio dramas and put out there.
Nice, that'll be fun. All right, so thank you everyone for the Twitter feedback. That is at APA something on Twitter, and you can also follow Nick on Twitter at alone_podcast, as we already said. Love it. We usually have polls every week that pertain to our episodes, so come back for more polls. They'll be there, and you get a shout out if you participate.
Yeah, and thank you guys for participating.
Thank you.
It is so much fun when you guys...
Even the person who hijacked our post.
I mean, that has something going on the back of my mind. So, either way, every little bit is awesome when you guys communicate with us.
It's
dope.
That I just like shit on that person. I didn't mean to.
Well, no, I mean, here, for me, it was... I don't want to be insensitive because I am a white dude.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I think there's a lot of really neat shit that we could talk about, and I'm all for talking about it. It's just, I can't initiate. We're not the initiators here. But if you want to initiate, fellow podcaster, hit us up.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk some other stuff. General podcasting stuff that we've learned through... How long have you been doing You Are All Alone?
A little over 2 years now.
Okay, same here.
This
started early 2018. January 2018 we launched. So
yeah, February for me.
Just over 2 years for each of us. So we've got some background on podcasting and what it means to be a podcaster. So let's start. This is the interview section, really. What have you learned through this podcast or You Are All Alone about podcasting and talking, for lack of a better term, a living? We don't make any money on this, but we do it a lot.
I mean, it takes up a lot of our time in regards to, it's a big commitment. You know, cue the fathers, husbands, sons, brothers, you know, shit like that line.
I mean, also, if somebody wants to pay us for this, we're open to it.
Hit us up, man. We got really cool merch.
Yeah. What have you learned through this podcast or You Are All Alone about podcasting and or talking for a living?
I mean, quite a few things, but first and foremost, 2 major things stand out to me, and that is bring a little passion. I mean, if you're just drawing on and just going, hoping to get rich or something like that, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna really disappoint yourself. If you want to do it, dive in. Like, I mean, it's almost like football in my mind. Football, I think you had, if you played it, you had to play that shit like your hair was on fire. Like, it was just...
Yeah, you can't... There's no half speed in football.
No, you're all in. And I think that's how it is, whether, you know, whatever means that takes. But when I mean, a lot of my free time, I think about podcasting. Not because I think I'm going to get rich, shit like that. But I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the community. I really enjoy, you know, building something from the ground up on two separate shows. Like, not necessarily on 2, but you get what I'm saying.
I got you.
So that's all from, you know, brought to life from passion. It's just, I am not always super into it in the moment, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like 24/7 I'm thinking about podcasting. Right. But
yeah, I mean, there have been some times where I've had to like slog, like, oh shit, we got to record tonight. Let me make sure I got my outline filled out and got everything in there. And it's like I have the thoughts, but there's not as much fire behind them as like when I first drew up the outline. I was like really excited about the idea, but by the
Hmm.
time we start talking, I usually get back into that frame of mind.
Right? I mean, I think you share a passion with me. I mean, we just said 2 years is a long time in the
Very
podcasting
passionate
world.
about you, Nick.
Uh, but that leads me to my second, uh, my second topic, or my second thing, which
Oh,
is
sorry, I wanted to say something. I'm trying to not cut people off as much because I feel like I do that, so I was trying not to. I did want to add to that of like, if
hit me,
you're
bro.
going to do a podcast, first and foremost, you have to do it for yourself and because it's something that you're interested in. Because you're not going to get rich from it, unless you already have a following of some sort. And you're not going to get fame and fortune out of it. You're not going to get noticed. You have to do it because it's something that you are interested in and want to extrapolate on. If you're just throwing it together because it looked like fun and maybe your heart's not all the way in it, it's not going to last. You're going to make it like a month and then you're just being like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
Right. I mean, it's with something like that. It's something kind of close to you play close to the chest. Like I'd never talked about my story really with anyone but my wife, and
Mm-hmm.
then I fucking threw it out there for the world. Like I can't take that back. That's something I share with all of you that have listened to it. And over time, like my passion with it, it's brought up. I have a group of people that listen to it whenever it drops. I talk to
Mm-hmm.
people on Twitter.
That's
Like
me.
that's a lot of fucking fun.
Uh,
Um, you know,
Same thing with me. I told my wife about it because I had to meet with Eric and like make plans and so me and Eric talked about it for a while. But I didn't tell my parents probably for a couple months after starting it and like getting a lot of episodes out there. Mostly because they're kind of critical and I didn't need somebody critical right then. I just needed not even feedback. Like I needed support, not criticism. Like
yeah.
I,
Oh
I
yeah,
just
that's
needed
cool,
like
man. Go for it.
somebody going, yeah, that's a fun thing.
Hell yeah, that was
Uh,
that was my wife for me.
so yeah, it was if your heart's not in it, it's not gonna go anywhere. And the only way that I've ever seen people gain a following is if they're truly, 100% behind what they're doing. So if you're just like, whatever, I'll throw it together, and you're not engaging on Twitter, you're not engaging with your audience when you're on the podcast, they're not gonna engage with you, and they're not gonna give a shit.
No, you'll be an afterthought.
Right.
And if that's okay with you, that's cool. I mean,
That's fine. Yeah.
personally, yeah, I don't really mind. I think it's super awesome. I love it. But yeah, I mean, that's not why I do it. But yeah, second thing is that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to did I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Second bit of advice is consistency. We kind of like we may not always have shit, man, life happens, dude. But we sit down on our Wednesday or occasionally Thursday, and we talk, and that's something that we've committed to, and being consistent. And if you're not consistent, if you're a couple days late here and there, something like that, let the people who
Mm-hmm.
listen to your show know, like communicate with them. That's huge.
Well, especially for like, smaller podcasts like we have, indie podcasts. Nobody expects perfection because everybody has different lives, right? And you can't always be consistent. But if you let people know, like, oh, we're a couple days late, or oh shit, I forgot to upload it, it'll be ready later today. Like that, people understand those things. But when you just like ghost for 2 weeks because you didn't feel like posting or you didn't get together to record, and you're not posting anything about it, people are just gonna be like, okay, guess they're done, and
Yeah.
they're gonna unsubscribe.
Well, I mean, that's reasonable. People are, for the most part, reasonable when it comes to something like that. They're not going to be like, God damn it! These
Yeah.
fucking
I need this
assholes!
on Monday, and it's not coming till Wednesday. What the hell am I gonna do?
Yeah, I'm never going to listen to them. Fuck them. I hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people I'm sure are probably like that, but for the most part, people are fucking reasonable, and it's really, really awesome when someone reaches out on Twitter and they're like, can't wait for the next episode, take your time. Love it. And it's like, okay, cool, yeah. Thank you for that.
Agree. Okay. So for me, it's that there's always an interesting angle for anything.
Oh, God, yeah.
There are a million ways to break things down. We talked about this going through our awards, but there's a million ways to break things down and to find a way to talk about them that will be interesting. At least to me, it's interesting, and hopefully it's interesting in a way that other people find interesting too, the listeners. And I know it has to have at least some appeal because like you're in on it, and the listeners that we do have that I have interacted with, like they're usually in on it. So like that's good. Like
It's
there's
awesome.
always a way to look at something, and when Eric and I started, I was worried that we would run out of things to talk about or ways to talk about things because we started off, like I said, with these broad topics. Let's talk about football. Let's talk about basketball. And you would run out of things really fast if you only focus on it that way. So that's when I kind of realized, instead of trying to fit this huge topic into an hour or so, what if we took one simple bullet point from that outline of the huge thing, and we take that bullet point and turn it to an hour? Because then the next time we want to talk about basketball again, we take the next bullet point and there's another hour. And you basically create limitless paper in a paperless world. Shout out
God
Michael
damn
Scott.
it. You are a smooth motherfucker.
I just watched that episode, so I had to throw it in there.
That's too smooth.
And it's the same thing we do with Harry Potter. Yeah, we could talk about which book is the best and, rank the books and rank the movies. But when we take it as, okay, let's talk about the Sorcerer's Stone. And then next time we're going to talk about the Horcruxes. And then the next time we're going to talk about Filch. And then I still have 5 different topics, Harry Potter topics, that we haven't even gone into yet. And
Quidditch.
that's still just scratching the surface. Ooh, I don't have a Quidditch one, but that would be a good one.
God damn it, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, so there's 6. There's always another thing, and there's always an interesting way to look at something. Same thing with The Office. There's 9 seasons. We could do 9 episodes, or you could do a million episodes on each little thing that happens within those seasons.
I was going to say, man, if you gave me a half hour, I could probably come up with 90 little subjects to talk about for
and that's what I
about an
do
hour.
now when I'm watching things like The Office, or I rewatch Parks and Rec. And Seinfeld, it happens a lot, and it sucks that you aren't into Seinfeld, because like I have all these great ideas of what we could do with Seinfeld. And maybe like if I say we try it with the Dragon Ball Z and the Halo episodes first, doing that, one guy knows, one guy doesn't, and going it that way and see how that works. And if it works, maybe we can try that with Seinfeld a little bit too. I don't know, the way my mind goes into Seinfeld, I feel like is on a different level than anything else, but I could be wrong.
I'll have to check it out. I mean, that's something that eventually.
So yeah, but like I constantly watch Seinfeld, and every time I catch something new, and I'm like, oh, that would be a great thing to talk about. That would be a great thing, and like I'll find time to talk about them. Don't worry. Like I'll get the thunk tankers back on when we need to. You're gonna have another kid eventually. We'll need to fill some time.
I just had a scare.
I
Don't
know
you
your
fucking
wife's
jinx
listening.
me. Oh, dude, I literally just had one today. You bastard.
So yeah, that's my biggest thing is, like I said, I was worried that we'd run out of topics too soon, and then I realized like there's always another angle to look at something.
I mean, and hell yeah. And when you're, I mean, as a living human being, you're kind of at different points. And you never know when inspiration's going to strike. Like,
Right.
a lot of, I sent you like a group of 6 outlines one day. And I just sat down and it was like, okay. It just kind of fucking came out, and, you expand upon them a little bit more. And it's like, okay, that's good. Let me send it on. So that's really fun. And I mean, it's when those moments come, it's like, strike while the iron's hot.
Yep, I just start writing, and then I'm like, oh, this is a good idea, and then I'm like, okay, let me write some quick bullet points down, so when I eventually get back to this in 3 months and we're ready to put a full outline together, I don't forget why I thought this was interesting.
Right.
Because that's always my problem, is like, oh, because I've got a Google Drive full of ideas, and some of the ideas are just literally the idea, and I'm like, wait, what was interesting about that?
Yeah. What was I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So then I got to Google around for a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I can find an angle on this. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. What have you learned about yourself from doing either this podcast or your own?
A couple things. It kind of built off something I learned in college that I never realized about myself is I can hold my fucking own in a conversation. Like, I cuss a lot, so a lot of people think I'm a little, I don't know, maybe stupid, whatever you want to say. But everyone around me cussed growing up, so it was just something that I kind of do as a reflex, So that was cool. And talking in general, like I never would have put shit out there. And some of the things I've like come out and said on this show, points of view that could be viewed as controversial, so just added drama into my life that I don't necessarily need.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm willing to
it's a
put my
somewhat
stance out
safe
there.
space to talk about it, because one, not that many people listen, and nobody I personally know listens. My parents listen every once in a while. Eric listens. Andy listens. But those aren't people who are going to like come at me and tell me how terrible my opinion is.
Right. And I mean, it's just getting, it's
Or like
it's
where I'm
nice.
going to be held accountable for my opinion. Like I'm not going to walk into work one day and they're going to be like, I can't believe you fucking said this.
You're fired.
I would hope that they didn't. I don't think I've said anything that controversial here, but
Yeah.
mine's kind of on the same thing. I like talking and interacting on Twitter more than I ever thought I would. In person, like when I meet somebody in person, I'm talking to somebody in person, I have a hard time leveling with people and finding common ground because to me, this is why, and like this might sound self-centered or whatever, but like just the way my mind works, I don't ever think somebody else's brain is going to be working in that same way and that they're going to engage in the thing the way I do. Like I'll always feel like if somebody comes up to me as like this was when the show was on, not anymore because nobody wants to talk about it anymore, but if they were like, "Oh, do you like Game of Thrones?" I just go with like a simple, yeah, it's a good show and don't get too deep on it. But what I really want to do is extrapolate on what it actually means that Jon is riding Rhaegal instead of Viserion like he should be. But like you can't, when somebody asks you if you like Game of Thrones, you can't just hit them with that right
Oh
off
yeah,
the bat, right?
most people will be like, "Are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
are you okay?"
So I have this thought that I'm going to scare quote unquote normal people away with the way I like to think and talk about things. But I've found in podcast Twitter and in this podcast with you and with the other guests that I've kind of found my people. And, I had a lot of fun when I was doing all the guest episodes at the end of 2018 because it gave me a chance to really pick apart things that I don't usually think about. And, through podcast Twitter, I can still put those ideas out there. So whenever I have this kind of random thought that I want to dig deeper on, but I need to bounce it, uh, like I can't ever go up to a coworker and just be like, hey, what do you think about Filch in Harry Potter?
Mm-hmm.
But like I can now bounce it off you and we can try and make an episode out of it. Or like if it's not that much of a thought yet, I could just throw it up on Twitter and there's usually someone out there that can pick up on it and just go with me for a little bit. Like there was one the other day, the parents from Frozen I said are easily the worst fictional parents out there. And another podcast, Not Suitable for Adults, great podcast, check them out. uh they just picked it up and kind of ran with me and went back and forth on tweets for a few minutes, but that's not a whole episode. But it was like I just had this thought that I needed to that I needed to put out there. And like again, I can't just walk up to some like my wife's friend's husband and be like, yeah, so you've seen Frozen, right? Those
Yeah.
parents, what the fuck were they doing?
What is wrong with them? Like,
and
come
and
on.
maybe I could. Maybe there is another person out there who's thinking the same thing and wants to talk about it. But like that's not a face to face. Like you can't just walk up to somebody and start talking about that usually.
Yeah, it's more
At
often
least
than
in my
not, it's definitely
experience.
not. Like, fuck, man, I worked with a dude for 2 years, and then now I'm working with him again. I had no idea that he was a big mega nerd like me,
Right.
and it's just never
It's
had that conversation.
it's nice to know that there are other people out there like me that exist and that are willing to have these kind of thoughts and discussions and also just want to talk, deeper than surface level pop culture stuff.
Right?
Because anybody can go, oh yeah, Infinity War is the best MCU movie. Anybody can say that, but like, okay, what really makes it that? Let's build on that a little bit.
Let's talk about the problems here.
Yeah, let's talk
Go.
about, what was Corvus Glaive really after with his fucking stick that he kept stabbing Vision with?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No, that's for a different time.
Yes.
All right, so what advice do you have for other indie new podcasts? We touched on this a little, but let's maybe extrapolate just a little bit on.
I touched on it quite a bit in regards to, being consistent, something, just be consistent for the most part, but really have fucking fun with it.
Pick something that you are going to enjoy.
Just have fun. Don't worry about building your brand or, just worry about building
Like,
relationships.
Here's the thing. True crime is easily one of the biggest venues for genres for podcasts. It would be very easy for anyone to just say, I'm going to do a true crime podcast because that's going to get me the most listens right off the bat. But I don't give a shit about true crime. So, like,
yeah,
I wouldn't have fun doing it every week. I wouldn't have fun researching. I wouldn't have fun talking about it. I had fun on the one we did because of the way we did it, and because it was funny to me.
Yeah.
Um, but like I don't want to do that. And even putting that together was like felt like a lot of work and a
It was
lot
a
of
bit of a chore,
extra.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah. Whew.
it was a
It was
lot more
tough.
than I usually put into this, and so like yeah, I could do that, and my listens would jump exponentially just because it says true crime on it. But like I wouldn't care.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I that's good advice. Mine is just do it. Like if you have an idea that you think may be interesting to someone or just to you and you are interested in it, start recording.
Yeah, just
Don't
fucking do
worry
it.
about equipment right off the bat. It doesn't matter. I know some people out there that still use their phones. They get the Anchor app and they get the same or more listeners or less. It doesn't matter because listeners aren't what's important. What's important is that you're doing it for you, like we talked about earlier. But they get it out there because they're engaging and they have something interesting to say. I'm not a huge fan of the four dudes just shooting the shit podcast, but
No, it
like
gets
if
old.
that's your thing and your way to hang out with your friends, then just do it.
Yeah, go
Who
for it,
who
man.
cares if someone else is listening? That's your way of bonding with your friends. Doesn't matter what your mic setup. You can get mics for like $12 on Amazon. They're shitty, but they work.
Yeah. I
You
mean, if
don't
you
need
have a
them.
laptop, you can do it.
Yeah, if you have a
Audacity's
laptop,
free.
if you have a phone, Anchor is a free app. Audacity is a free app. There's just getting it out there, like we said before, can be very cathartic. Just when I did that Fall Out Boy episode, that thought had been in the back of my mind for like 6 years of, well, what's really the best Fall Out Boy album? And just the fact that I got to talk about it, I got to make my spreadsheet that I wanted, and I got the thought out there, that thought doesn't itch me in the back of the head anymore. Because
Yeah.
now I know definitively Infinity on High's their best album.
And don't
I,
fucking
I
argue
think,
with me.
yeah, I think that's what I came up with. I'd have to go back and listen, but I think that's what I came up with. Um,
Nice.
but like I said, Anchor's a free platform. Audacity's free on your laptop, on a desktop, whatever you've got. You most likely have a phone. You can download Anchor. You can record straight into Anchor. There's literally no barrier to entry on podcasting. Once you get going, you're going to want to upgrade your equipment. You're going to start telling your friends and family, I don't want this thing for Christmas. Get me a new microphone, you know?
Yeah.
And you just build it as you need, but it's not necessary to start. Like I have two or three other ideas that I think would make good podcasts, and I would love to get them off the ground. I just don't have the time to dedicate to recording and editing more than what we do
Yeah.
now. Like
I got another idea myself. I
in
mean,
20
that's whew,
in
too much.
2019, I did the podcast about football with Eric and all these episodes. So I was 2 episodes a week, and like I was just buried, and I hated it. I loved doing both things, but like it was just a slog every time to get through editing and posting and make sure everything was up to date, and it just wasn't worth it to do both of them.
It's a work. I mean, even when we were doing our bonus episodes, it
Yeah.
was just like, whoo,
Right.
shit.
Well, and we were doing the bonus episodes at the same time, so that was like three things I had to pay attention to each week. I had to take notes for every NFL game, that I saw. It was just a lot of stuff that I didn't want to forget to say or whatever. So the second I have some time, I would probably work on launching these other things. The second my wife gets 2 more promotions, I'm there.
I'm fucking there.
Okay, the final, hopefully not saddest question. Do you think this podcast has an expiration date?
When I first read that question, I was just like, oh, damn.
It's deep, man.
Yeah, hit me right
Let's give
the
some
chest.
the listeners something hopeful to go on here.
Well, we hit our 100th episode. So
Yeah.
let me go into this.
It's going to be
No.
December 9th, 2021. That's the expiration date. Sorry.
No, fuck. Anyways, I was going to say,
What if we just really randomly ended on that day? Like, I'm going to completely forget I said that in a year and a half and go, and then all of a sudden, like that, it's just our lives take over. We can't keep up anymore, and that's when it ends. It's like, oh shit,
I'd be okay with
Nostradamus here.
that. For Calvinamus. No, that's
working.
terrible. That was a
Not
reach. No, man. I honestly, I don't really think, because we don't really have a start. We're all over the place. We talk about subjects that are so minute that I highly doubt we'll run out of topics.
Right.
We haven't really run out of. We each know enough about these topics and are willing to research enough. Like, fuck, man, it's not that much of a commitment in the
No,
grand
there's not
scheme
that
of things.
much research into it. Like maybe
No,
like tops, I might spend 3 hours a week researching.
but I mean, most stuff I have a base
Right, there's a
knowledge of.
baseline, and then I just want to like it's more like confirming my thoughts of like
Right.
I think that this came from here. Let me just go make sure. Okay, let me write that in better words. Yeah.
And I mean, if we haven't stopped through the myriad of stuff that's gone on, like just in my life, for example, like a major job change, the birth of a child, buying a house,
Yeah,
moving
those are big things.
twice, a fucking pandemic,
Yeah.
and
We're
we're
still
still
going through
here.
Corona.
Yeah, we're still here. So it's
Kevin
something where
Kevin
I think,
Durant's not playing right now, but we are.
yeah, we ball hard, yo. We ain't no punk bitches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shots
Kevin.
fired. Kevin Durant,
Yeah.
you are a
Kevin.
punk bitch. Says Nick, not me. I'm
I
cool with
school
Kevin.
fools like you on the b-ball court.
Yeah, I'm in the
I've
same
always
boat.
wanted to say that.
I hope not. I've had this thought before, which is kind of what made me put it here, of like, okay, what is it? Like if we get to episode 100 and we're not at a certain number of downloads, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I
okay,
don't
you
care.
could say that, but really does it matter because I haven't talked about everything I want to talk about yet. Like there are a million things I still want to get out there. I have at least 100 topics on the Google Drive right now that like I could at any moment just go in on. So like I don't think you can base it on okay, well we're not growing anymore, or nobody new is listening, or we're not the Ringer hasn't picked us up yet. Well, no shit,
I mean, we're just two guys.
But I mean we're here at the Ringer. We're here.
Yeah, hit us up. I mean, I'll totally take it.
I know, like you said, I'm never gonna run out of things to talk about because I'm constantly consuming new things or looking at old things in different ways, and my brain is just now wired to turn anything and everything or something into content. So like anytime I'm watching something or reading something, I'm thinking about, okay, how can I talk about this? Even that book I read that I was telling you about a couple of weeks ago, Off to Be the Wizard, where the guy, he hacks something, becomes basically a wizard. I was thinking of ways that we could talk about that, but that comes with its own barrier to entry. You have to also read it and probably have to read it a couple times to understand it enough to have,
An in-depth
talking
discussion
points
about
on it. Right. And what's the audience for that? How many people have actually also read that book that care about to talk about it,
And then
and
would
it's
actually find us.
And it's a 6-book series, so like, should we read all 6 books first? So like, there's things like that we're like, okay, I want to talk about it, but maybe it's not time.
Right.
But again, I'm reading new things, I'm watching new things all the time, so there's always new content to discuss.
In this world of nonstop content, it's kind of a given at this time.
Right.
It's just if you can pull it together, like if you can make it happen, by all means.
And like I said, I can usually take the smallest bit of something and find a way to turn it into an hour. And
yeah, I mean, hell yeah, dude. I'm sitting there watching just random shit. The Office that I've seen a million times, and my wife is like, the other day we were sitting there watching it, and she's like, "What are you thinking about?" Because I just had this dumbass look on my face, and I was like, I need to rewind this because I thought I saw a frame where I don't remember the character, but he was clean shaven, and then the next frame he had 5 o'clock shadow, and then the next frame he was clean shaven again, and it's like, sure fucking enough, he was.
Let's nitpick frames of The Office. That's going to be an episode.
Well, I mean, I just never noticed
go
it. So I mean that's something that you always notice new little things, and
right.
I mean, I could probably do that. I could probably make that happen.
Yeah, and like I said before, there are plenty of other crazy people out there that would take me by the hand and go at this stuff with me if for some reason you couldn't continue. Like even if one of us has an expiration date for whatever reason, like there is, like I found through doing all the guest episodes that there's people willing to talk about pretty much anything. You just have to find them and find the time to do it. To me, the only limit to this podcast will be how long my wife or your wife puts up with us doing it.
My wife loves it.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you enjoyed it. It's good for you.
So.
I think we answered that question.
Yeah. Any other podcasting thoughts or a podcast about something thoughts to leave us with?
No, I think we beat that horse, brother.
Yes. That's it. That's the end. That's the end of the show. We're done forever.
Bye.
Thank you and good night. Thank you, as always, to those cats.
You guys stay sassy.
Stay classy.